Hello. So here's a quick tutorial on creating functions in MySQL. So once you have your Workbench open, let's go ahead into the schema that you want to work with. In this case, we're using VRG, which you should have in your Workbench. We're going to click on functions, create function, and this pretty much gives us a quick template of what it should look like. And we're going to follow along with this. Write a SQL function that has one parameter of type numeric 82. So this is the size of the number, and return the char of size 18, and so on and so forth. So let's create the function first, and we're going to call this new function whatever we want. I'll call it a ticket item, since we're checking for ticket items. And inside, I'm going to pass a parameter of type numeric 82, and I'll give it a name. I'll just call it item, and it's going to be numeric. And I'll put the size in there, 82. Okay, so far so good. So this part here is just doing this, creating the function, and we're putting one parameter inside this function, and the parameter is called item, and the type is this. And next, it says return char 18. So here it says return integer. We're going to get rid of that, and let's call it char, and I'll put size 18. Okay, and yeah, so that takes care of that. Now we're going to go into the meat of this function, which will be checking for whatever is passed in. So we're going to pass in some value, some item, and we're going to check if that item is less than 1,000. I believe it's the sales price or something like that. If it is less than this, and then print this, and the rest for these other conditions. So it's going to look something like this. And first, I need to make a declaration for the particular item, or rather, declaration of a char, because I'm going to return a char. So I'm going to do this. I will declare. I'll call it my item, and it really doesn't matter what you call it. And I'll just put the char. It's going to be maybe size 20. You can put size 30. As long as this size will fit this size. So this is the size of a char, and as long as it fits in there. In fact, just to be safe, let's just do 30. Okay, so here it says it's got a bunch of ifs and a range, so I'll be able to set that. Remember, I'm bringing this parameter in. If the parameter, and my parameter is called item, so if my parameter called item is less than 1,000, then, and I'll just do this, I'm going to set my item of char size 30, set my item equal to, says here, small ticket item. Cool. Small ticket item. Okay. Close that. And then I'll continue with the next one. The next one is a range between 1,000 and 10,000. So let's do this. And this one I'm going to need a parentheses. If my item is greater than or equal to 1,000, and my item is less than 10,000, then I will set my item equal to medium ticket item. Okay. And then the third one is, oh wait, I forgot to do something here. Let's go ahead and do it else if, because I'm just going to force it to go into one particular condition. So if this works, then do this. If not, do this. So I want to force it to go into what's called the else if statement. So it'll go here. If not, it'll go here. If not, it'll go here. Else if item is greater than 10,000, says here big ticket item, then set my item equal big ticket item. And then finally, return for sale if none of those work. Okay, so there's only one other option, which is else set my item equals for sale. And I will need to end this if. And the only thing I need now is to return a char of size 18. And oh yeah, so this is size 18, so I really don't need this to be 30, but that's fine. This number is just arbitrarily chosen. Now I will do a return of my item itself. All right, so whichever this lands in, I need to return it back to my script. Return my item. Okay. Oh, in fact, it had the return here. I can just get rid of that. Okay, end. So this is pretty much the function itself. I'm going to try and apply and see if there are any errors. Sometimes I may need to put a deterministic here, but if there are no errors, then I'll just continue with it. So go ahead and hit apply on the bottom. Hit apply. So there is an error. So I will need to, let's see. Yeah, I will need to put a deterministic, I believe. Yep. Okay. Put a deterministic here. Okay. Apply. There we go. So now it's part of the function, or rather part of the schema. And again, yeah, the deterministic, it just needs this to determine, well, to let the I guess the program know that this does have an end, I suppose. So we know where it ends right here. If it's indeterministic, then we got to let it know too. But perhaps that's for another class or another time. So now that this function is done, I hit apply, everything's good. It ends up here in my function tab. Okay. So now this is part of my schema, and I can actually use it to do whatever I want with it. And in this case, I'm going to come up with a new script. Okay. And did I do it right? Let's see. I need to find this. Here we go. I need sales price, because that's what I'm going to pass in. I'm going to pass in sales price into my function, and I need to be able to see this transaction ID, sales price, and all that stuff. So use the trans table. Yep, this is the trans table. Okay. So let's go ahead and come up with a script. It says here, I need to select these guys, transaction ID, sales price. Okay. So I'll call transaction, I think it's a capital T. Yeah, it is. Transaction ID, sales price. Make this bigger a little bit for you. And I'm actually going to call my function and call to the function you just wrote as the argument with sales price as the argument. Okay, I'll call the function. My function is called ticket item here. So ticket item. And it says here the argument is sales price. Put it there. And now all we got to do is tell the database where I'm getting it from. I'm getting it from VRG, which is this guy, and where specifically in trans, like it says, use the trans table. So VRG, not trans. Okay. And then the last thing is display the results in descending order of sales price. Okay. And then this we already know from before. Order by sales price. It should pop up. And we want it in descending. DESC. That's a keyword. All right. So now we can just test it. We'll run it. I'll hit Control Enter. There we go. And let's populate it up here. Okay. Now we can compare with our actual results. So this looks good. We've got our transaction ID on the left, the sales price, and this is where our function created a whole new column. See, this is our function name, and this is the argument that gets passed in, the sales price. And yeah, these are the chars that are being returned: big, medium, small, and for sale. Okay, so that concludes this tutorial. Good luck, okay?